Hi guys, welcome back to ASX Market Watch. Thank you very much for joining me today. It's really good to have you, especially because we are actually starting to get some solid entry signals across all of the markets that we look at, and this is what's really exciting, and that's why it's really good to have you here checking it out, because there's a lot to show you this week. Last week we went into a few predictions because the market was very boring, and those predictions didn't turn out. I'll be quite frank with you. They were not accurate at all. But you know what? That's why they're interesting to do, but still base your rules and base your entries and exits on solid back-tested rules. And that is what we've got at the moment, which is why it's so fantastic. So, hey, let's get into it. And again, guys, it's awesome to have you. It's really good. We've got all the markets we're actually looking at is the All Ordinaries, quickly, the Dow Jones, FTSE, and the Seng. So, well, without further ado, let's get into it, because what we've got is the famous... the humble, really, the trend line, that simple tool. It's a line on a chart, and yet it can give you such great rewards if you let it, and if you know how to use it properly. So this is our downtrend line. Now, just before that, quickly guys, short-term sell signal was back in April 2010, and look where that was, right up here, because it crossed the downtrend line, and then it went below it with a lower peak and a lower trough. Now that is what I use on a daily chart for a buy or sell signal on the All Ordinaries or on the ASX Top 200. Now look where the market went from there. Boom! All the way down to, what, 4,200, at least intraday, and now the market's starting to flatten out. But what have we got on the flip side to that? We haven't really had a solid entry signal in the meantime in the last 3 months. And what has happened just recently, as you can see here, we've got this beautiful downtrend line, and I'll just see if I can increase... There we go, make it a bit larger for you as well. So we've got this beautiful downtrend line. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 peaks it's hit, which is what I love. The more peaks, the merrier, I say. But not only that, it has got a higher peak, a higher trough, followed by a close above the previous peak. Now that is the exact opposite signal as what we had back in April 2010. So that's what we're looking for, and that's your sort of entry signal. It has around about a 70% probability of success, which is happy days as far as I'm concerned. Nothing has 100%, and if anyone tells you that they have 100%, run the other way, seriously, because you will be wrong in the markets, and it's just a matter of handling how you're wrong and using the right money management. I know you know what I mean there. You guys are on the ball. So that's really simple. The only thing that you have to look out for, if I just enlarge this chart a little bit again and give us a bit more space here. Here we go. This is from the start of the bear market to today. And as you can see, we've just got this overhanging resistance, and that's at about 4,800. So while we do have our happy little entry signal on a daily chart here on a short-term basis, it does have a little bit of resistance still on that overhanging trend line. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. 4,800 is that resistance level. So isn't that fantastic? Love it! All right, next one is the Dow Jones. And what is the thing about the Dow Jones? Because... happy days, it is probably almost exactly the same scenario. Now, I know you guys have heard me say this like 100 bazillion times, but in all honesty, even 120 years ago, probably even further back than that, but I don't have the data, 120 years ago, the markets were actually still related. So if one country went into recession, even though they didn't have internet or fast-breaking news every second of the day, the recessions still happened around the world at the same time. It's crazy. Like, it's amazing stuff when you really get into it. The world is so connected. It's just beautiful. But this is the Dow Jones, as you can see. And last night on the Dow, at least in Australia anyway, if you're looking at the Americas, that would have happened today. It closed up at around the 10,424. So that's the same signal. Like, we've got a crossing of the trend line, peak, higher trough, and going through the previous peak. That's your short-term entry signal on the Dow Jones as well. So happy days on the Dow Jones. Is there any future resistance on the Dow Jones? Let's have a look. Yes, there could be. There definitely could be. Let's have a quick look. And we've got, bang. Oh. Here we go. Yeah, so really, in all honesty, looking at about 10,900 to 11, yeah, about 10,900 would be the next sort of overhanging resistance on the Dow Jones as well. So even though we've got our short-term entry signal right now, hope that helps on the Dow Jones. Next one, quickly, FTSE. This one, now again, it's just really at the risk of repeating myself, guys, this is the same deal again. We've got FTSE. 3 peaks, 1, 2, 3, happy days, higher peak, higher trough through the previous peak, and that is our short-term entry signal on the FTSE as well. So really not much to go into. Would we have long-term resistance in the future on the FTSE? Yes, it's possible. Let's have a quick look. And I know you guys are following along here because you're probably wondering what I'm going to say next. Oh my goodness, is it another short-term entry signal? Are the markets really that related? Yes, they are. Yes, they definitely are. And short-term resistance on the FTSE about 5,600. So got a little bit of a move left in that before it hits some trendline resistance there. As you know, trend lines I use, they find support and resistance in the future, and that's a great moving tool for you to find support and resistance where the market might find or might stop in the future and reverse. At least that's just a short tip for you there. But the last one is the Hang Seng. Now if I can find it, here it is. Now as you know, with the Hang Seng, Elliott wave wise, I was counting on well, let's see if I can draw it in quickly. It was A, B, B, C. And then I was counting on a larger bull move starting. Now this would happen over quite a long period of time, and this is really the baby stages of the next wave, Elliott wave, at least if you were to believe the count that I'm putting across here. So it's A, B, C, next wave, I think it was the 5th wave, which is not usually the longest, but it's not always the shortest either. And it's, yeah, so really, that would have taken us up to about 25,000. And basically, long story short, it's on its way. So guys, it has crossed, same as the other markets, has crossed the trend line, short-term wise, had a higher trough and a higher peak. Bang, happy days. I'll just enlarge that again. There you go. So I mean, that's a big view for you there. Quickly, that's your sort of short-term entry signal there. Do we have resistance on the long term on the Hang Seng? Absolutely. So yes, we do. Your resistance for the Hang Seng is still looking at around 22,000, guys. So if I can get that in the right place, around about 22,000 is still your longer term resistance for the Hang Seng. So how simple is that? I mean, really, the markets can be such a simple place. You don't need to jump into like financial astrology or fancy predictions or anything like that. I mean, you can do, and it is fun to do, but at the end of the day, use your solid tested rules and just find a way that you can a line in the sand, so to speak, where your entry rules are met. And that's all I'm doing here. Solid back-tested entry rules. Happy days. So I hope you guys are all really well. I hope you're having lots of fun in the markets and also sticking by your rules at the same time, making lots of money as well. My stop losses are in, don't you worry. Alright guys, I'll see you next week. Stop by the website, it's asxmarketwatch.com. Check it out, all my rules are there. There's a little mini course there. Okay guys, happy trending. See you next week.